Alright, so today what we are doing is we're in this 1920s colonial revival house. We are adding a bathroom in here. This was a bathroom beforehand. Karen, if you want to pan around just a little bit. And it was, when we got here, it was gutted. And it had kind of fallen apart. There was a lot of water damage in places. We had to repair the subfloor and all kinds of things. But we're in the middle of our bathroom renovation. I wanted to walk you guys through some tile. We are doing subway tile in here. I've got some samples here. And subway tile was extremely popular in the 1920s, 1910s. It kind of took off. First subway opened in 1905 in New York, and it was tiled with these kind of glossy, easy to clean tiles. And people loved them. They went into old houses. They were everywhere in bathrooms because people just started figuring out in the early 1900s that there were these things called bacteria. And before then, Victorian bathrooms were just mostly wood, very ornate, hard to clean, very dark woods and things like that. In the 19-teens and 20s, there was this craze, a sanitary craze. We'll peel back this paper a little bit and show you we've done the floor too. Everything in these houses, in these bathrooms, was white, glossy, shiny, easy to keep clean so you could see, because people thought you could see the bacteria. So if it was dirty, they assumed you could see that that was when you needed to clean it. So what we're doing here is we're just using these standard 3x6 subway tiles. They're pretty thin tiles. They have little lugs on the ends that help you to do the spacing like this. And we finished this wall. Right now we're just putting on a cap, which is this. Is a bullnose cap. And it basically is just going to go right about here. And that's all we're doing here. But we have another wall to do. So come on over here, Karen. Take a look at this one. This is the wall we're working on right now. And we finished tiling here yesterday, and we're going to pick up today. And we've set a ledger board here, so the next step that we're going to do is we're going to come around and we're going to cut new ledger boards. And I'll tell you why we need ledger boards in just a bit. So come on downstairs. Now we'll go back upstairs, install our ledger boards, and we'll be ready to time. Alright, so we've cut our ledger boards to size. What I've done here is I just started a couple of screws in each. I'll need 2 screws to make sure I can get a level board. And this is our base tile that we're using. This is just going to go right along the tile floor. So how we're going to set our ledger boards, at least what I prefer to do, since this wall, the floor may or may not be just a little bit out of level, we're going to set our base tile here. And this is where our ledger board is going to go above. So basically, you just want to measure the thickness of your base tile, which in this case is 3 5/8. So I'll know that I'll want to be 3 5/8 inches up here and 3 5/8 inches up here. I'm going to set it at 3 5/8 here and screw that in. And then what I'm going to do is over here, we're basically just going to get it level. And whatever this measurement is, it might be off by an 1/8 or a 16th, but we want to make sure it's level. If there's a difference, we can do it. We can modify it by scribing this, trimming this down a little bit, making it a little bit tighter, a little bit longer, whatever we need to. This joint will be modified just a bit, within a 16th or an 1/8. That's something you really need to pay attention to in an old house because there's all kinds of weird things going on. This house generally slopes towards the center of the house, which is not uncommon in old houses. So on this side of the bathroom, which is the outside wall, we're about, I think for the whole bathroom, we're about 1/4 of an inch higher than we are at this door, the exit to the bathroom. So we've had to make a lot of allowances to make our tile look like it's perfectly straight, and so you don't see this whole tile sagging down towards the center of the house. So we'll get this marked and screwed up, and then we'll be back and ready to start installing our tile. Now we've got our ledger board set up, and what we're going to do is pick up tiling where we left off yesterday. The first thing I'm going to do, I have one cut to make on this tile. The rest of these, for a little while, are going to be pretty easy until we get over to here. But the first one has got a notch in here, and you can see this one's just a little bit too tall. So I'm just going to make a mark on here. It really doesn't need much. It just needs to get a little bit shaved off. Normally I would just put it up there and try and mark where it is there. Here I can see it's only about a 16th. And what I'll do here is set the tile where it should be. It's a little overlap now, but now I know right there by marking there, I've got my mark for I need to cut off there so it'll turn this corner. So we're going to go downstairs, get this one cut. After I get that one cut, we'll have a bunch of other field tiles. We can just start tiling up the wall and set everything in our thin set. All right, here we go. Careful. There you go. You got that little notch cut out for the molding on the window there, for the casings. And we'll see if that's enough. If it's not, we'll just come back down and take off a little bit more. But always start short of it. That way you can work yourself up to it. If I cut this too deep, then I'll just throw the tile away and start again. So we've got our tiles cut. We've got our ledger boards on. We're ready to finally put the tile up here. Now, because we started the other day and we're picking up where we left off here, it's kind of hard to use our trowel to get in these spots. So what I'm going to use is just a plain old margin trowel. We've got our thin set mixed up here. And for these larger pieces, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set some of the thin set in here. If you make a mess, don't worry. You can always clean it up. I keep a wet sponge around and a bucket of water just sitting here when we're doing tile. That way, as you get thin set on the tiles or on the floor or on yourself, you can keep it nice and clean. So once I get this set in here, I'm going to come through with my trowel. This is a quarter by quarter by quarter notch trowel. It means that the size of these are a quarter deep, a quarter wide, and a quarter tall. So I'm going to get some of this on the trowel, spread it out here on the wall. What the notches do is they help you to measure the proper amount of thin set. So if I were just smear the thin set on the wall like that, that's too much. You can't tell how much. You scoop through it like that, and it divvies it out. It gives you the proper measurement. Plus, the little pattern here really helps the tile to adhere a little bit better, really get into the thin set, which is extremely important. If you don't get a good bond with this thin set, you're going to have tiles pop off when you grout, or they're going to come off at some point, especially on an exterior wall like this. This house isn't insulated. I've got an exterior wall that's going to expand and contract as the sun sits on it. The most important thing is that I get these tiles on here really well with the right amount of thin set. So I'm just going to thin set this section here, and we'll start setting, and then we'll continue thin setting as we have some tiles set. It takes a little while to get a feel for how to work with one of these trowels, especially in these really cramped positions that you get into in these tiny little bathrooms. Alright. So the first one I'm going to set is that little one that we cut the notch out of. It's going to go right in here. Make sure that's set in there good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come along and set the ones on my ledger board. This is going to be when you put your tile in, you want to scoot it back and forth, just wiggle it a little bit like that. Put even pressure on it. Push it in, scoot it side to side, and makes sure to get a good bond with the thin set and that it's well on the tile. Now, once I've got those, I've got my spacing in here. Let's see how this one fits, see if we did a good job the other day. Same thing. And how you can check your work as you move along. Subway tile should be set in this staggered position here. They can be set however you'd like, but they're typically set like this. So you want to measure from joint to joint, it should be 3 inches. These are 3 by 6. Half of 6 is 3. So you want to make sure your joints are on 3 inches. If you get off like that, a 1/16 of an inch, even a 32nd of an inch on tile, you think about that going all the way up the wall, a 1/16 each time. By the time you get up to the top, you're 2, 3 inches off, and everything's all askew. It's got to be exact. It's not quite as simple as carpentry, and it goes a lot slower because of that. So keep setting these, and we'll set all the way up here to these plumbing shutoffs. We'll set this one, see what I'm going to do. Set this, and then I'll get my measurement for what I need here. So I'm going to set this and say 3 inches. I need to move this way just a little bit. Just a little too far. So there we go. I'm set at 3 inches. So now I need another cut, and I can just measure that size pretty easily right there. 2 1/4 inches. I'm going to put it in right there. The other thing you want to look out for in these old houses, this is, the window's going to be going back in here after we're done restoring it. And I've got all this wood casing here. And again, like I was saying about how the wall is going to expand and contract with hot and cold. Right around this window casing, if you notice, I've left a decent gap along here between the tile, and this is going to get grouted in some places caulked. That's so that as this wood expands when it gets hot, it doesn't push on the tile, cause the tile to pop right off of there. You need to think about these expansion gaps. Wood is going to always expand and contract. A little bit less so on this old wood, but any wood that's on an exterior wall is going to expand and contract. And if you've got tile on it, you can't put it right up against it. And the same goes for your tub. We set this tub over here, Karen. Just pan over here and show them. And we set the tile on the tub. If I put this tile right on the tub, as the tub gets full of water, the tub tends to move a little bit. It would pop the tile off. So what we've done is left a little gap here, 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch. It has to be more than a 1/16, but I prefer between an 1/8 and a 1/16. And then that's going to get caulked with a silicone caulk. That's going to keep it nice and watertight, but it also gives you enough room that this tub can move as it gets filled. You think about how many gallons of water go in a tub, it's certainly going to move. Even if it's a cast iron tub, they always flex just a little bit. So keep that in mind when you're tiling a shower surround. All right, so we're just going to keep tiling here. That's it for that little section here, and we'll give you some photos of what it looks like when it's all done. So thanks for stopping by. You can find more tips like this at thecraftsmanblog.com.